Hey everyone, today I want to talk about the upcoming new moon in Cancer, beginning a new moon cycle coming up this Wednesday. That will be June 25th. And also today, it's your Astro vibe for Monday, June 23rd. Before I jump in with talking about the new moon in Cancer, I want to just do a little Astro vibe for Monday here. So if you're looking or you're watching later and you don't care about Monday anymore, just go ahead and jump ahead to where I will talk about the new moon. So today the moon continues in Gemini, and it went into Gemini on Sunday, and we're completing as we wind down this moon cycle. We're coming full circle with the moon back to Gemini, where we began this moon cycle with the Gemini new moon. And if you're paying attention, you notice that each new moon is one sign beyond the previous one. So it's so cool how that works. We have usually one new moon per the time that the sun is in a zodiac sign, which is 1/12 of the year, right? So about a month. And not it's sometimes we get two new moons in one sun zodiac sign, but usually it's one. So we usually get the Gemini new moon followed by the Cancer new moon followed by the Leo new moon. So we have this beautiful evolutionary progression throughout the year through as we work through the new moons with each zodiac sun sign. So this one is wrapping up the Gemini moon cycle that began with the Gemini new moon and is beginning the Cancer moon cycle, beginning with the Cancer new moon on June 25th. So today, the moon in Gemini brings themes of communication, really having an opportunity to look back over this moon cycle and what you've learned, what has evolved for you around communication, information, learning new things, asking new questions, opening your mind to learn things that you didn't know previously. So, looking between the lines to evaluate things, look a little bit deeper, and understand things ultimately a little deeper because you're gathering more of the details, more of the information that can help you put together those pieces of the puzzle. Gemini also has to do with networking, communication, and so language, writing, working on writing projects, but also engaging in conversation with others that can spark thinking and new ideas. So looking back on the month and what has evolved for you, what you have learned, where you have developed new thinking, new communication, new insights or ideas that will help you frame your understanding going forward. And Gemini has that quality of being distractible. So maybe if you've gotten a little bit unfocused or lost in the weeds or curious about so many things that you forgot what you were doing, then we can wrap that up as well as we head into this week's Cancer new moon. So the new moon in Cancer on June 25th is conjunct Jupiter, which is now in Cancer. So Jupiter expands whatever it touches. And the Cancer energy, as opposed to Gemini, which is very mental, thinking oriented ideas and communication, Cancer is about feelings. It's about nurturing. It's about these very intangible ways of being that are also really quite profound, even though we can't necessarily put them into words. So, Cancer brings the energy of how we care for ourselves and one another. And caring does not just boil down to words. It's how those words come across, right? So the same words can be very loving, very kind, very angry, very, right? So the same words, how they are presented, what is our body language? What is our presence? What is how, how focused are we on the person we are with or the people we are sharing information with? Are we showing up with kindness? Are our hearts involved? Are our feelings present? Or are we totally checked out from our emotions and being hyper rational, which is the direction we can keep going in if we get stuck in that Gemini energy? So, the beautiful way that we move through the zodiac and from the Gemini new moon to the Cancer new moon is that we get this opportunity to balance. So we're balancing out the Gemini themes where we can start to get hyper rational or a little bit overly focused on the exact words or thinking or ideas, to remember that the feeling we put into it matters. The presence we show up with matters. And so, what is being conveyed between the words? What is being conveyed in our feelings, in our nonverbal communication, our facial expressions, our body language, our ways of being present with one another? So, that is how we can think about the Cancer energy as a shift in gears and bringing our focus into how do we achieve those real goals that we have by bringing more feeling into what we're doing, more ability to not just convey our own emotions, but almost like how we listen with Gemini, right? We want to speak, but we also want to listen because communication is a two-way street. Same idea with Cancer feelings. So you have your feelings, but are you able to be present for someone else's feelings? Are you just shutting them down and saying, you're being too emotional? Or is someone doing that to you? Because it is not just our need to share and express our feelings, but also that need to be seen and heard in our feelings, which also takes us into the Leo zodiac sign, right? As we move toward that Leo new moon, we have more of the expression of our feelings. But the point is that it is two-way communication. So we need to feel our feelings, but we also need to be present to the feelings of others. And when we can do that in our most whole ways, we can really achieve and create space for healing at deeper levels because we feel seen and heard and have the presence of our emotions. Okay, so Jupiter activating this Cancer new moon at 3 degrees Cancer with the sun and moon at 4 degrees Cancer brings in like I said, Jupiter brings expansion, abundance to whatever it touches. So it brings in this feeling of bigness to our emotions. Can be a very emotional new moon, but remember, it's also helping us get in touch with something deeper. So, paying attention to what is beneath those emotions that may be coming up. What is moving through you? What is needing cleansing, clearing, healing? And so, doing that for yourself, but also that two-way street of showing up for others in a way that is kind and caring, and in a way that says, I honor your emotions, I honor your process, even though it may not be the most convenient at any given moment. so so that flow, going with the flow, trusting what is emerging, even when it is on a more emotional level. In fact, it is your ability to be present with what is happening at that emotional and energy level that could help you be engaged in the most healing ways that could create shift, and you don't know what that might look like. So this new moon also, because Jupiter is in a square to Saturn and Neptune, currently moving beyond the exact square, but still very close to, still very tight in that square, 90 degrees, with the moon right there with Jupiter. So we have that square energy putting pressure, evolutionary pressure. So these emotions that we're talking about could emerge and be feel bigger than life for one, right? They might feel bigger or more significant than they have before, or maybe what's showing up in the moment might feel bigger than it really is, and that type of thing. There can be inflation with the energy of Jupiter, so your emotions may be inflated. But of course, with that square to Neptune and Saturn, we also have this evolutionary pressure to move some energy, to attend to our needs proactively. In other words, there is a choice needed here. It's not just that you're going to feel your feelings, it's that you have to almost make a demand. I need to feel my feelings. You need to put your stake in the ground and say, this is important. I am going to attend to my needs. And by doing that, I will be able to help others more. So hopefully that will be helpful or resonate with you in some way. The square between the Aries energy with Neptune and Saturn means there is that need to be proactive, that need to be decisive, to make a choice, and not just make a choice, but make a choice that pushes your comfort zone a little in terms of standing up for yourself and your needs, as well as standing up for others and their needs. So, just like on the airplane, when you have to put your own oxygen mask on first so that you can be there for others, you literally have to take care of yourself first so that your energy and your ability to be present is there so for others. But in the collective, we are also dealing with themes of caring. And this new moon will say, it's time to make a choice. It's time to make a decision about where you stand for issues that have to do with caring for others, how we treat one another, how we show up. What is kindness? What does caring look like? How do we facilitate caring in our society? How do we create structures that hold the space for caring and continued caring and support? Because it's not just kindness, it's also meeting needs. So we need to meet our own needs, but we also need to, in society, think about how we are going to meet one another's needs and take care of one another so that our needs are met, so that we can uh, function better together, right? Right? Our communities are stronger, our world and humanity is stronger when people's needs are met. And so it's not just like an idea or an ideal. It's actually very practical to have one another's needs met so that we can all participate more actively. And we are all learning how to do that in the best way possible. So we get to make mistakes, and we are allowed to make mistakes in that process. But the important thing is that we keep moving forward to figure this stuff out, to figure out how we're going to meet one another's needs, be a caring and kind world and society, and show up for one another in our various kinds of communities that we are in, and how to do that. So you don't have to do it all, right? You you don't personally save the world, but you are that one action step that meets together with everyone else's action step and choice to be caring. So, what is that for you? Asking yourself, how can I be, first of all, how can you, what do you need, and how can you meet those needs? Great place to start with your own intentions for this moon cycle. And then, secondly, how can you participate to be that, to help to create that caring in the world around you? Maybe it's doing something locally in your community. Maybe it's doing something for a friend or a neighbor or a relative. Maybe it is something that helps others. So, whatever that is for you, thinking about that, I would love to hear how this lands for you and what it makes you think about in terms of how to participate and create a more caring world. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Marina Orms. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com, and don't miss yesterday's video with Jenny Webb, another astrologer, where we're talking about Uranus going into Gemini, and fascinating stuff coming up, how to think about it, how it will impact you, how it may impact the world, and the nature of artificial intelligence, technology, communication, and so much more, and how it may affect us and our own evolutionary process. So definitely check it out or watch it if you missed it, and maybe rewatch it because there was so much in there. All right, thanks for being here again. Thank you for subscribing, and join my member site for more articles and information and content. And I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.